Okay, so I've been a bit of a Hollow Knight craze recently, and with Silksong just have been released, I thought it'd be a really cool idea to rank every single charm in Hollow Knight, starting from basically each charm going from D to S tier. These will mostly be my opinion and will probably anger a few people, but hey, it's my tier list. I can discuss on how I want to discuss it. Now, what we'll be doing is we'll be starting from the top here all the way to the bottom. Now, starting off here, we have a very simple charm, the Dream Wielder. Dream Wielder reduces the amount of time it takes to use the Dream Nail, not only increasing the amount of soul you get with the Dream Nail, but because you can actually use it quicker than you normally can, you actually get more benefit out of it. Now, it doesn't do any damage to the opponent, but the fact that it gives you soul is just really good. So I'm putting Dream Wielder in A tier. Next up, we have the very well known, very annoying, and I mean annoying charm, the Dream Shield, which basically is just a shield that moves around your screen repeatedly, that's meant to block projectiles and protect you and also damage enemies when they get hit by the shield. Now, if you pair it with Dream Wielder, it does get slightly bigger, but it's not worth it, especially with the fact that it's just a terrible charm. So it goes in D tier. Like, I don't know how anyone can use it, it's just terrible. But anyway, next up, we have Breakable and Unbreakable Heart. Now, these two charms, they are not the best, but they actually have uses. For being the second of the Unbreakables and Breakables, Unbreakable and Breakable Heart basically make it so that when used, you get more hearts. Now, this is really good, but to put it lightly, Breakable Heart goes in C tier and Unbreakable goes in B tier. The reason why is because when you have a breakable charm, you need to go to the guy you bought them from to repair them, and it is just not pleasant. You can use, there is a charm we'll get to in a bit that actually does make it cheaper to do so, but it's just not worth it. But next up we have Unbreakable and Breakable Strength. I'm going to put it straightforward and put Breakable in A tier and Unbreakable in S tier. These charms are not only so easy to get early game, but they increase the amount of damage you do by 50%, which is just busted. And for a charm that is not only just really good, but, as I said, very accessible early game, it makes your life easy. However, Unbreakable is still better than Breakable because you don't have to repair it. Next up, Glowing Womb. Now, this one is a terrible charm for the main reason it does absolutely nothing. What this does is it creates little guys that go around the screen and attack enemies. But the problem is that they absorb your soul to do it. They take soul to use, which not only reduces the amount of times you can actually properly use it, but it also just prevents you from being able to do anything. Because you won't be able to heal most of the time. Because it's taking the soul to create these little guys that are going to attack and do minimal damage. So D tier. Next up, Grimchild. Now, Grimchild's actually a very interesting one. You see, Grimchild is one, as like Glowing Womb, is another one that spawns a thing that helps you. However, it doesn't take soul. You see, what this does is it basically creates a little guy that comes around with you and spits fireballs at the opponent. Now, you actually get this from probably one of the best characters in the game, Grim, which after beating his Nightmare form, gives you the fully maxed out best version of the Grimchild. Is the Grimchild really, really good? No. But is it got more uses than Glowing Womb? Hell yes it does. So I'm putting it in B tier. Next up, we have Heavy Blow. Now, this one's a bit of a mix for me. You see, what this does is it makes it so when you hit an opponent, they get launched back further. Now, for a lot of people, this would not be very good. That's if you don't put into consideration that it does have one use. It makes bosses stagger in one less hit, which is actually not terrible, especially if you pair it up properly with a few other charms. You could actually have a really good build. Now, obviously, do not use Heavy Blow against regular enemies, but against bosses, it's not bad. But it's not the greatest, so it's going in C tier. Next up, Hive Blood. Now, this is another charm which it can be good, but also can be bad. You see, it's got a bit of a weird synergy with other ones, and it can get kind of annoying. You see, it basically turns all your hearts into Hive Blood hearts, which actually regenerate when being used. Now, this does have uses, but it's got a small problem, which is the hearts regenerate slower. And if paired with the Joni's Blessing, it's not really the greatest. With the Joni's Blessing, it will give you more hearts, except it increases the time it takes for Hive Blood to regenerate hearts. So, because Hive Blood does have its uses, but its synergies with other charms is not amazing, I'm putting it in C tier above Heavy Blow, because it does have more uses. Next is King Salt. Now, okay, this one's a bit of a mix. Where King Salt is one that you have to work your absolute arse off to get, it is not a good charm. You have to go through a whole parkour section and everything just to get this charm. It just does nothing. It does absolutely nothing for you, especially with the fact that it takes up a whopping 5 charm notches to use. It does, okay, to be fair, it does regenerate soul, but it literally does absolutely nothing. It does nothing good for you, and because it takes up 5 charm notches, I'm putting it in D tier. It does absolutely nothing, I swear to God. Next up, Lifeblood Core. Now, this is actually a not bad one. You see, Lifeblood Core is actually really good if used correctly. It gives you 4 extra hearts of lifeblood, which you can't regenerate, but it also allows you to take more hits when in things like boss fights or something like that. Now, if used correctly, as I have just stated, it's really good. But you need to know how to use it and how to pair it up properly with other charms. But because of this, because it's the most useful of the Lifeblood charms, I'm putting it in B tier. Next up, Mark of Pride. Oh my god, do I have some stuff to say about this charm. It is good. It is honestly one of the best charms in the game, other than Unbreakable Strength and a few others. This charm increases the range of all your nail attacks. And not only that, if paired with its less good, but still very useful younger sibling Long Nail, you can hit enemies from far away. And the fact that you can also pair it with the Grubberfly's Elegy, which makes it so the slashes that you do that go through the sky, kind of like the Master Sword things that you get in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, it's honestly not bad. It's actually not bad at all. And because of that, I'm putting it in S tier. It's really good. Next, Nail Master's Glory. Now, this is one I've actually not used yet, but I have seen people use it. Is it good? It has its uses. Is it amazing? Oh my god, yes it is. You see, Nail Master techniques are, there are 3 of them in the game, and by getting all 3 of them, you can get this charm, and it is absolutely worth it. It does have a few downsides here and there, which is the fact that you might have to get used to using them. I don't use them, but if I got this charm, I would. And the fact that all these the Nail Master techniques do increase damage to enemies, and this charm reduces the amount of time it takes to actually use one of these attacks, I'm putting it in S tier. Next up, Shaman Stone. Oh my god, there is, again, I have stuff to say about this. It is great. Not only does it increase the amount of damage that your spell attacks do, which there are 3 in the game, it just downright makes the game more fun, because it makes it easy. The Shaman Stone will increase all spell-based attacks, not by a gigantic margin like Unbreakable and Breakable Strength do, but it is very noticeable. You can literally make it easier for yourself by using this kind of charm against enemy like bosses like Grim, the Hollow Knight, Pure Vet, all of that. And it is honestly the most commonly used one. So I'm putting it in S tier. Next one is a bit of an odd one. Shape of Oon. This one is honestly, for some reason, some people think it's bad, but I think it's actually not terrible at all. What this does is it allows you to move around while you're healing, and in Hollow Knight, that is a massive thing. Not only is it, like, you can move around while you're healing, but you can also use that to avoid attacks that you typically would not be able to avoid when healing. It is really good. But there are some scenarios, like if you're fighting a boss like Grim or Hornet who move around really quickly, it's not going to be useful. So because of that, it's got its uses, but it's also not the best one. I'm putting it top of B tier. Next, Soul Eater. Now, this is... It's not a terrible charm, and I dare say it is a really good one. It's got a drawback. It costs 4 charm notches. Now, what this does is it increases the amount of soul you get when attacking enemies, and that is an amazing thing to have. Except, I don't think it's the greatest charm. In my opinion, if you want a decent build that gives you increased soul, but you don't want to kick up multiple charm notches, the younger brother of Soul Eater, Soul Catcher, is going to be a lot better. But because there are a lot of good builds that use Soul Eater, I'm putting it in the top of A tier. Next, Spell Twister. This is actually not a bad one, and for some reason some people think it is. Spell Twister basically makes it so it decreases the amount of soul it uses to use a spell. Typically, you would only be able to get at least 3 spells off with 1 full thing of soul. This gives you allows you to do 1 extra attack, which in bosses is massive in Hollow Knight. And because of that alone, I'm putting it in S tier. I think it's just really good. Next up, we have a bit of an odd one, the Stalwart Shell. Now, the Stalwart Shell is not a terrible one, but can be very useful in a lot of builds. You see, what the Stalwart Shell does is it increases the amount of invincibility time you get when you get hit by anything. Any projectile, any physical attack, any of that. The Stalwart Shell will increase the amount of invincibility you have, allowing you to reposition yourself a bit better. Now, this charm does have its uses. However, once you get better charms and a bit more HP, you're not really going to use it as often. And because you already get a bit more, you already have a good amount of time to reposition yourself with the invincibility you get when you get hit. So, because of it, it's still got its uses. It's not the best though, so I'm putting it in the top of C tier. Now, next is Steady Body. This is where it gets very awkward. You see, Steady Body makes it so when you attack an opponent with any form of attack, it basically makes it so you can have no recoil. It makes it so you have no recoil when you attack. Now, this takes up one charm notch, which actually isn't terrible. However, this charm is only for veteran players, or for players who actually know how to deal with recoil. The reason why is because there are some builds that do require you to to have no recoil. There are some bosses that do require that. But if you're a beginner for the game, I would not say use this charm. But if you're like me, who has played the game for at least, 18 hours straight, it is a very good charm to have, but it also isn't the best. So I'm putting it in low B tier. Next, Weaver Song. Oh my god, this can be very useful if built correctly. Weaver Song has synergy with two different charms, actually. These being Grub Song and Sprint Master. Now, Sprint Master mixed that with Grub Song and the Weaver Song, basically it makes it so the Weavers that spawn with the Weaver Song charm not only have an increase in speed, but also give you soul when attacking opponents. This is really good if you build it correctly. Does it have many uses? No, not really. So, because of this, I'm putting it in low C tier. Next up, we have the Boulder Shell. This is a confusing one for me. Now, this charm has many uses, and is honestly a very good charm to have early game. But when you're in late game, when you have charms that do a lot more and make your life even better because you're not struggling, I don't really see the use in having it. Sure, it was good early game, but late game it does nothing. So I'm putting it in mid to high C tier. Next up, we have Carefree Melody. Now, to get this charm, you need to banish Grim and his whole show thing, which I would not recommend doing. This charm is not good unless you use it correctly, and there is very little builds that use this charm for good, for good measure. Literally what this does is it makes it so you have a chance, keyword there, chance, to have no damage done to you. This can be really good and really bad, because even though you could get lucky and on the first hit have nothing done to you, this also can literally do can also just do absolute fuck all and just not do anything. It is not good. So, also I should mention, the amount of times you get hit increases its chance of actually giving you that invincibility to an attack, except it is not good because you're getting hit repeatedly, and if you don't have enough HP and you don't get hit and you don't get it on at least the third or fourth hit, it's not useful. So I'm putting it in D. Well, I'll put it in high D tier. Next, Dash Master. Okay, this is not even a confusing one. This is one I can just go straight out and say low C tier. It has its uses, and it makes it so you can dash around faster, but in about 95% of bosses, this is useless. But in that 5%, it can have its uses, especially with catching up with some enemies and just traversing the map entirely. So it's got at least something there. Next, Deep Focus. This one is not a great one, but it can be useful. Deep Focus is a charm I would only recommend for one area in the game, which that being the White Palace. It is the only location in the game I would recommend ever using this charm, and it is the only place I will ever say use this charm, unless you're a moron. Now, there is going to be some people who go, but it gives you more HP when used, and if you pair it with the Shape of Un charm and the Quick Focus charm, it can be really good. Yes, it can, but that takes up more space, and honestly, I don't want to do that. So I'm putting it in bottom C tier because it's only got a place in the White Palace. Next, we have Defender's Crest. Now, this is a confusing one. Not even confusing, it's a straight up awkward one. You see, with the Defender's Crest, you can basically abuse this to do one thing I would recommend ever using it for, and that's repairing the breakable charms. Because if you don't have Grimm's whole circus thing unlocked to you at that point in the game, but you have this charm, I would say you would use this to repair the breakables and then just switch out of it. It does also have a area of damage effect, and also does have a few extra bonuses, like if you use the Flukeness charm. If you mix it with the Flukeness charm, it does make it so that when you attack an opponent, instead of doing the regular Flukeness thing, it makes it a giant bomb. Except that bomb does very minimal damage, and the fact that this charm takes up a whopping one charm node, which isn't terrible, but it's also just not a very good charm unless you're using it to repair the breakables. So, high D tier. And speaking of the devil, we have Flukeness. Now, this charm is not really good. However, it does have the use of the fact that it can be helpful. This one charm basically makes it so it summons a bunch of flukes, which can damage enemies because it jumps around and hits them, which does kind of increase the damage, but you need all the flukes to hit the enemy. And it's not really good if you can't really focus your attack on one particular enemy at a time, which I would not recommend using this charm unless you know what you're doing. So, low B tier. Next, we have Breakable and Unbreakable Greed. Now, these two charms here, I don't know how to really describe them. You see, Unbreakable and Breakable Greed really only just increase the amount of geo you get. Except, you would only use these to be able to get the other Unbreakables, which is the only reason why I'd suggest using them. And because of that, I'm putting both in bottom C tier, actually with Unbreakable going a little bit higher than Breakable, because, well, can't really do much. Next, we have Fury of the Fallen. Now, this one's actually not bad if you know what you're using it with. You see, when you're playing through the game, there is a special, I think it was like the Pantheon or something like that, where you have to beat enemies, or beat bosses without taking a single hit, where this can be useful. What this does is it increases all your damage by 75% when you're at 1 HP. And if you mix that with Joni's Blessing and Hive Blood, you've actually got a really good charm. I know Joni's Blessing and Hive Blood are not great charms on their own, and I did say Hive Blood was C tier, a little bit higher in C tier. But if you actually put Fury of the Fallen with it and actually know what you're doing to cheese it, because actually, a little funny thing here, Lifeblood doesn't count towards your actual hearts. So technically, this charm will be permanently active, because Joni's Blessing replaces all your hearts with Lifeblood. So I'm putting this in B tier, below the Grimchild. Next we have Gathering Storm. Now, Gathering Storm, all this does is it makes it so it brings a bunch of geo towards you, and it's actually really good, because not only will this allow you to level up in the game a lot faster and getting better charms, better items, more resource, all of that, use this charm. And then once you don't no longer need geo, you swap out. So it's going in A tier. Next, Grubberfly's Elegy. This ability is a bit confusing. You see, with Grubberfly's Elegy, it makes it so that when you're at max HP, when you're at max HP, this charm will make it so you throw projectiles when you swing your nail, which isn't terrible, but you're at max HP for that. And once you take damage, it doesn't work anymore. That's unless you pair it with Fury of the Fallen. When you mix it with Fury of the Fallen and you're at 1 HP, it reactivates this charm. But that combo I said before, if you mix Joni's Blessing with Fury of the Fallen and if you mix Joni's Blessing with Fury of the Fallen and Hive Blood, if that was even possible. So I just remembered that Hive Blood takes 4 charm notches, not 3. So you would have to scratch that whole idea. But if you mix Joni's Blessing with Fury of the Fallen, and then if you have the space, slide in Grubberfly's Elegy. If you can fit that in there, you have the ability to have a permanent projectiles that deal 75% of your nail's damage, which is not bad at all. But because I know that's not something many people would do, or even if that's possible, can't really use it. So, and the fact you have to be at max HP for this to work, it's going top of D tier for that reason. Next, Grub Song. Oh my god, this charm is just absolutely amazing. What this charm does is it basically makes it so that when you get hit, you regain soul. Now, if you pair this with the Weaver's Song and Sprint Master, which we'll get to in a bit, that's infinite soul gathering there. But if you get hit, you get soul back anyway. And because it's actually a very useful charm, and you can get it very early game, it's going in A tier, in top of A tier, in fact. Next, Joni's Blessing. This goes bottom of C tier. Joni's Blessing literally only makes it so that you have all your hearts replaced with Lifeblood. This is, as I said before, in combination with Fury of the Fallen, is very helpful. But early game and mid game, it's not good. Late game, it can be, not mid game or early game, because you can't even get this until mid game. So, no, C tier, bottom of it. Lifeblood Heart, bottom of D tier. Oh my god, this charm sucks. This charm literally gives you 2 things of Lifeblood, which do regenerate when you sit at a bench. However, that's if you sit at a bench. There are not many benches around the map. And because of that, it's not good. So, D tier. Next, Long Nail. That's a straight up B tier, below Fury of the Fallen. Long Nail literally makes it so you have extended reach when using it. It's the younger brother of Mark of Pride, but if you have a spot open for 2 charm notches, you can't fit Mark of Pride in there, Long Nail's really good to go for. And honestly, I've used it a lot, and it's really good, so B tier. I just realized there is I got 2 repeating charms on this tier list, so I'm going to put them at the bottom here, because I'm not going to use them, because I've already placed them on the tier list. Next up, though, we have Quick Focus. This is a really good ability. Oh my god, A tier. A tier right now. It reduces the amount of time it takes to heal, and it's just really good. And mix that, actually, if you mix that properly with Shape of Oon, you have a really good charm. And there's nothing more to say, but just bloody A tier. Next, we have Quick Slash. This is self-explanatory. At literally below Mark of Pride, but above Nailmask Glory. Quick Slash is so good, you do not want to remove this when you get it. Quick Slash literally makes it so you can attack faster. Not only making it so you can get a whopping 4 slashes in within a few seconds, but also allowing you to get more soul is just really good. It is a great ability. I dare say it's really good. And if you say anything else, I swear to God, every Hollow Knight player is going to hate you. Next, we have Sharp Shadow. A tier. Now, I know Sharp Shadow isn't a commonly used one, and dare I say a lot of people hate it, but it's actually not bad. You see, Sharp Shadow allows you to deal damage to opponents when you're using the Shade Cloak to dash your enemies. Not only is that very useful with a bunch of different bosses, but that is just really good overall. And it belongs in A tier. And actually, dare I say, it goes above and beyond in A tier, because it does so well if built with correctly. So and also it's just one of my favorite charms, A tier. Also, it does increase the amount of distance you have when dashing with the Shade Cloak. So again, just more of a reason to put it in A tier. Next, Soul Catcher, literally S tier. Now, unlike its older brother Soul Eater, which has more, basically allows you to get more soul, Soul Catcher is a more convenient one. It does not increase your soul gathering as much as Soul Eater, but because it only takes up 2 charm notches, it actually is still very useful. And if you have the spot for 2 charm notches and you have nothing else to put there, and you put that in there, you're good. And if you actually put the 2 together, you get even more soul. So, it belongs in S tier. Next, we have Spore Shroom. This is a straight up mid one. This is straight up mid. You see, with how this charm works, it's so bad I have to put it in D tier. It works horribly. It's only really useful if mixed with Shape of Oon, but that's it. Because all it does is that when you get a successful heal off, it creates a spore cloud that damages enemies, which can be useful. I actually put it at the top of D tier because of that. But you have to get a successful heal off. Successful. So, it's really high risk, high reward. Next, Sprint Master. This is one where it gets a bit confusing because of the fact that it has 2 uses, which is increases your movement speed, allowing you to move around the map faster, and increasing the amount of speed that the Weavers from Weaver Song have. And as I said before, mixing Sprint Master with Weaver Song and Grub Song, it's a really good combination, but alone doesn't really do much, which is why it's going in D tier, below Spore Shroom, but above Grubberfly's Elegy. Oh, Steady Body's also... I already got Steady Body on there. I don't know... Why is there 3 repeating ones? It's weird. Anyway, next we have Thorns of Agony. This is actually a very useful one, which is why it's going in A tier. How this thing works is when you get hit, it creates thorns that attack enemies around you. Now, when you're a new player, this can be very useful and actually can be very helpful against bosses like Grimm and all that. Except it's not really good when used against bosses like Grimm. I said it could be helpful against Grimm if you use it correctly. Because Grimm and Hornet are both bosses that move around really quickly, the only chance you'll get to use this is when they're standing still. And that's very rare. But other than that, all the other bosses and all the other enemies get hit by this thing for a pretty decent damage, and it's not bad at all. So A tier. Void Heart is the next one, and this one is just cool. It goes in S tier. Not only does Void Heart not take any, and I mean any notches, but it literally replaces King Soul, which is amazing. It replaces the King Soul and it allows the player to have access to all the best endings. The fact that this one charm as well, because this is the only charm that doesn't have like any form of charm notch requirement, and it's a story related one, but gives you some of the best endings and gives you access to fighting the Radiants, it is good. Just take my notches. Oh wait, yeah, don't need any. Finally, the Wayward Compass. Top of S tier. Let you see yourself on the map. That is all. And it is amazing, it is the best, and if you say anything else, and if you're a person who tells any newbie to take off the charm, leave it. Because that charm saves you. And actually, I still use it when finding secret areas. That is all. Anyway, that is all the charms from Hollow Knight in my own personal tier list. Funny that almost a lot of the charms that a good portion of people do sometimes, and I mean sometimes use, are in C tier. And if I actually look at I'm actually looking at another tier list right now. People are saying things like Fury of the Fallen and Deep Focus belong in D tier. I think Deep Focus and Fury of the Fallen are very useful charms and do have their uses. And yeah. But that is all for this video. And I might even start making a bit more Hollow Knight content. Well, not even a bit more. I might make some Hollow Knight content to make it a bit more fun. Now, with this tier list, this doesn't solidify all the charms of, like, this is good, this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad. Don't take it like that. This is just my personal opinion on each charm. And all these D tier ones are because they are just honestly not that useful in my eyes unless built with correctly. Which Grubberfly's Elegy and Defender's Crest are like the only two here that can be built with at least decently. But that's all for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.